Live from clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus, and WKMG. We're getting results in your neighborhood now at 6:30 p.m.
Now at 6:30, people using an empty field for target practice end up firing into a family's home. We hear from the neighbors impacted. But first, breaking news in a carjacking homicide investigation. The Seminole County Sheriff says it is no longer looking for this green Acura, but they are still looking for information on the people who were inside of it. Good evening. This is News 6 at 6:30, getting results. Thank you for joining us here live on News 6 Plus. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Justin Mormouth. We first told you about this story last week. A woman was carjacked at Tuscaloosa Road and East Lake Drive near Winter Springs Thursday night. Her SUV later found burned, her body believed to be inside. Now, in the last 2 hours, we learned that Acura was found abandoned at an apartment complex in Orange County over the weekend. It's now being processed in a separate case. The day before Catherine Altagracia was carjacked and kidnapped, they believe that that car was on the scene where a tow truck driver was shot multiple times.
At that scene, a green vehicle matching the description of this green vehicle was located, and there was more than 100 rounds fired at that location. One of the rounds found at the scene were 10mm rounds, which is, again, an incredibly unique and uncommon round for us to see out on the streets.
And we are continuing to stay on top of all the developments with this case. We'll bring you the latest updates as we get them on clickorlando.com.
A family fearing for their safety after a bullet flew through one of their windows. They say it came from a nearby field being used for target practice. And as you can see from this map, there are plenty of open plots along Williams Road and Winter Garden with homes off Salty Dog Road and Roxy Lane. It is just west of Stony Brook and the 429. News 6's Laverne McGee spoke with neighbors and police about the investigation so far.
I just finished speaking with police, and they say they're taking this very seriously and trying to figure out who fired those shots.
And all of a sudden, it was just like, bam. And then I have glass all over me. Like I just feel it in my ears and like everywhere.
Monique Ortiz didn't realize that a bullet had come shooting through a window right into her home on Saturday night. Luckily, no one was hurt. Monique says it was just a typical Saturday evening. She was spending time with her family, sitting here on this very couch, when all of a sudden she heard a loud pop. She then called police, who arrived just after 7 p.m. Her neighbor, Deborah Turner, believes someone is using the open fields across the street from the Waterside subdivision as a makeshift shooting range. But she doesn't think it's safe to go try to find out who's doing the shooting. You can see from our drone footage just how close these open fields are to their homes.
If they're shooting, blindly walking onto their property or knocking on their door is not a great idea.
Winter Garden Police Captain Scott Allen says they're investigating.
It's probably areas where individuals are used to going out and shooting in the woods and stuff, and they're not realizing that there's houses here now.
Ortiz is scared someone could be shot and killed.
It could have been my son. It could have been me. It could have been my husband.
If you have any information about what happened, you're asked to call police. Reporting in Winter Garden, Laverne McGee, getting results, News 6.
Well, there are now as many as 11 names in the running for the now vacant Orlando City District 5 seat once held by Regina Hill. The deadline to file was today. Qualifying for those candidates is now set for tomorrow. Hill represented District 5 until she was removed from her seat early this month by Governor Ron DeSantis. Prosecutors accuse Hill of cheating a 96-year-old woman out of more than $100,000. She has entered a plea of not guilty.
It is tax day, and if you haven't filed yet, we have some advice to help you out. Experts say if you trust yourself with a computer, filing online might be the best option. Using an online filing service means you need to make sure you have all your documents in order. If you don't quite have everything prepared, you could file an extension to October 15th, but there is a very important piece of information to keep in mind if you choose that option.
But the thing that people don't realize is that an extension to file your taxes is not an extension to pay. So if you owe money, you still need to pay your taxes. You either need to estimate how much you owe, or you can see how much you paid last year and pay that same amount to avoid underpayment penalties. And then what happens is you will accrue penalties and interest on however much is outstanding.
And if you want some other last-minute tax tips, just look on the homepage of clickorlando.com.
Addressing the critical need for affordable housing, the city of Kissimmee is celebrating a major financial boost to help people in need. It'll go toward a project called Haven on Vine, with more than 120 units for both affordable and emergency housing. At least 30 two-bedroom, one-bedroom units have been completed here at Haven on Vine. The housing complex located off of Vine used to be a Super 8, but is now home to several people.
I'm a single mom, raised 5 kids. My son passed a year ago. I had my mind lost. I didn't know where to go, where to run, but I came to Haven on Vine, and they were here with open arms.
Where would you be today had it not been for Haven on Vine?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Maybe in a hotel, renting it day by day.
Now the project can continue to move forward after the city was allocated $1.8 million through the community project funding process, funded by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. For more information on Haven on Vine and to see if you qualify to live here, we've put a link inside this article. You'll find it on clickorlando.com.
With Central Florida's population surging, the demand for safe and clean water is rising too. To meet the growing need, I learned the Orlando Utilities Commission has plans to drill even deeper into the lower aquifer, and that is something OUC has never done before. Now, it'll be years before the plant is fully operational, but I'm told tapping into this new water source will make sure customers have enough clean water for decades to come. How long have you had these?
These are brand new, so these have been in operation for about 3 months now.
It's business as usual at OUC's Conway Water Treatment Plant. And that's by design.
We like to be in the background. We don't want you to have to worry about your water system. This is an overview of the entire system.
Brad Jewell has been OUC's Director of Water Production for 20 years. In that time, the region's population has exploded. How is the growth affecting OUC?
We're able to maintain our water pressure and our water quality because of the growth, but we know we have to do a few extra things for the future growth.
That includes drilling even farther into the lower Floridan aquifer to access an untapped source of brackish groundwater, a $155 million project OUC just approved to meet the growing demand. And this is the first time that you're tapping into this lower level?
This is the first time OUC's tapping into this lower level.
Okay.
That's correct.
Does that have any environmental impacts or anything that's, can you explain that?
We've modeled the pulling the groundwater from this depth, and it has minimal impacts on the springs in the area.
Jewell says because the water is more minerally concentrated at 2,000 feet, it'll undergo reverse osmosis, another first for OUC.
We take the highly mineralized water and we pump it through a filter. And on the other side, backside of the filter, we have clean water. And then we're going to treat it just like we do the rest of our water. Give it a little bit of ozone, chlorine, fluoride, and send it to our customers.
Being able to accommodate the amount of people, how big of a deal is this? Is this something that you feel is absolutely necessary?
Yes, we do. The cost, we're looking at $155 million, but this will provide us with enough safe drinking water until the year 2045. Now, half of my water right now still goes on people's lawns, so the more conservation they can push, the better we'll be.
Construction on the new facility just north of the 417 in Lake Nona is scheduled to start by the end of 2025.
Prior to COVID, to 2020, we went ahead and we had a feasibility study done where we just looked at the existing geology in the area and the other wells that have been drilled in the area.
OUC anticipates it won't be fully operational, though, until 2033. But that just shows you the trajectory that we're on, right?
Yes.
And getting ahead of this before it reaches a critical point.
That's correct. OUC's always want to stay a little bit ahead, and with them giving us this extra time, we can make sure that we can meet that deadline.
All right, so on top of that project and some other smaller ones, OUC is encouraging customers to conserve as much water as they can and also to look into participating into the City of Orlando's Reclaimed Water program.
Well, it is Jackie Robinson Day, the day the baseball player broke the color barrier at the major league level. The ballpark named after him in Daytona Beach may soon become a National Historic Landmark. A bipartisan bill filed today would set the path to that status for the place where Robinson first hit the field as a professional ball player. We spoke with officials about what this means for the oldest ballpark in the country.
Obviously, being on the National Registry, is one thing, right? But then to be a historic landmark, it just puts the ballpark in a different light. To think about now, baseball here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark for the next 100 years is pretty special.
Well, the city, in the meantime, has been pouring $30 million worth of renovations into the park in order to keep our team, the Tortugas, in Central Florida. As a national landmark, the park would then be eligible for grants for upkeep, putting more security into its future.
And that is one of the top trending stories tonight on clickorlando.com. And taking a look at what else is trending right now on clickorlando.com, how fast would you run into the arms of the one you love? Actually, how fast would you drive? Well, for this South Florida man right here, this is Axel Sobervia. It was 108 miles an hour driving from his home in North Fort Lauderdale to his girlfriend's in North Carolina along I-95. So no surprise, he got pulled over. And he said it was because he was a rush to see her. Come join us on this story, Ginger, because my goodness,
I was just waiting
miles
for
an
you,
hour.
sorry.
I know, I wanted to include you. He was arrested, though, on reckless driving charges, so that's no excuse. Love is not an excuse when you're driving 108 miles an hour on I-95.
I feel like love can wait, and it feels like he didn't think that, but maybe he was trying to, I think like he was expecting to find something. That's why he was going so fast.
Maybe so.
So if I get there,
Yeah,
I'll
because
catch
you
him in
can
the
call someone, right? You can have
text, something.
Not when you're driving.
No,
I'm trying to.
no, okay, yes, you're right.
So you could call them. You can have the conversation before you need to see them. I think that's fine. No excuse to go 108 miles an hour. My goodness.
Ever, for anything, not even dinner. Our news, big trending story comes from our schemes and ripoffs team. An elementary school teacher got a government notice he never saw coming. Timothy Bunnell called News 6 after he received a bill for a $20,000 small business administration loan, a loan he says he never took out.
I wasn't sure if it was just somebody trying to scam me to get me to send them money, or if there's somebody that actually stolen my identity.
Who do you think is behind this? Any theories?
So I'm just assuming that somebody had gotten my information somewhere and applied for this loan in my name.
So a robotics teacher for elementary school kids and a longtime Disney cast member, yet Bunnell received a past due notice from the SBA for a $20,000 loan. The SBA is, of course, reviewing this case for us. We expect to have this resolved very soon, but that's got to be startling and alarming. Even though you know you don't owe it, people are still coming after you for that money, and to get it resolved is probably going to take a little bit of time, but hopefully our investigators there will.
I got faith in Mike Holfeld to get to the bottom of that.
A lot of faith.
He's got some intel out there. I'm sure he'll be
He's got a lot of intel.
A lot of intel. Our next top trending story is a bit of a history lesson. Did you know Florida, as we know it, could have ended up looking a whole lot different? Listen to this. There was work on a shipping shortcut right through the middle of the state that would have connected the Atlantic Ocean to the Gulf of Mexico. Sure glad that didn't happen. Sometimes called the Ditch of Dreams, the more than 600-foot canal would have had ships go right through the St. Johns River in Marion County. Now, environmentalists argued that would destroy Florida's natural environment. They got their way. They were right. After a few years and more than $75 million spent, the project stalled at just 28% finished.
Ditch of Dreams. That's not a very sexy name.
No, and it got what was coming to it.
Probably.
You don't need to be doing that. I'm so glad that didn't happen.
Don't ruin our state. Yeah. And here are some of the other trending stories right now over at clickorlando.com. Central Florida is home to many things, including the best small coastal town. According to USA Today, Stewart in Martin County is the country's best tiny coastal tourist spot.
Yeah, I guess we can claim that, even though it's not technically in Central Florida, but we'll claim it because it's the top of the list, right? CBS also apologizing for an error. This was not good. In last night's Billy Joel concert special, it was cut off midway through the performance of Joel's most popular song, Piano Man. And needless to say, people are pretty upset about this. They got pretty mad. The re-air, though, will be Friday at 9 on WKMG News.
The good news is my husband is a huge Billy Joel fan. He recorded it, so he probably doesn't even know this happened yet. He's going to go home and watch it tonight. It's like, what the heck? All right, and excitement is in the air here in the City Beautiful as the Orlando Magic prepare for their first postseason appearance This
in a
is like the
while.
first time in like 4 or 5 years.
Since COVID.
Yeah, fans are trying, not that we're keeping count, Justin. Fans are trying to figure out how to buy tickets, and those tickets will likely be going fast again because it's been a while since we've been here. They can see their team in person for the playoffs with the dream of an NBA title on the line.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that won't happen. We will not be winning the NBA title, but...
Oh, Justin.
Oh, come on, Ginger. We got to be realists in this, and I think the Magic would also attest to that. But I got tickets today, so it's doable. It is doable,
Sure did.
and if you go online right now, just be aware.
You're
and
gonna
be
pay a
warned.
lot.
You will see some sticker shock. People are really trying to capitalize on, the lack of postseason play the Magic are playing. But we wanted to ask you, are you planning to catch the Magic play in the postseason? Yes, 92% say yes.
Of course, yeah.
That's my bandwagon fan right there. Gotta love the Orlando faithful. Weigh in at clickorlando.com/react. And listen, as a lifelong diehard Orlando Magic fan, you do have to go to the 20-win season games.
Yeah.
That's where you are made. That's where you cherish these moments when these come, these postseason games.
You've been there all along.
You've been there, all right? Again, you can make your voice heard, but I love to see that 92% saying yes.
Yeah. How many tickets did you get?
I got 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I know.
You're my friend, right?
Yeah.
All right, so if you have your phone handy, just open your camera app, scan the QR code you see right now on your screen, and we will link you to take the poll. We'll have the results tomorrow right here at 6:30. Find all of our top stories on the homepage of clickorlando.com. Well, it was a gorgeous day for some outside hoops.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was nice too for the game, but it was inside. Nothing can stay gold for long. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas is in for Tom tonight. We will be tracking towards the 90s this week, right?
Fun that retractable roof, guys. Yeah, the temperature is getting back to the lower 80s right now. Gorgeous along the coast tonight, that nice little breeze. But yeah, the 90s are going to come surging back by the end of the week. We're going to pinpoint just how hot in a few minutes.
And a glitch in the system, a traveler forced to pay twice to park his car at Orlando International Airport. News 6 looks into the problem with the new reserved parking. You're watching News 6 at 6:30 live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results in Palm Coast, Lady Lake, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Tonight, a glitch in the parking system at Orlando International Airport forces a passenger to pay twice after he was what he calls detained. MCO has been pushing its new reserved parking at the new Terminal C, which guarantees you a spot and a smooth experience if you make a reservation and pay in advance.
But one passenger says it was uncomfortable and frustrating, and he believes he is not the first. News 6 anchor Eric Von Anken is investigating this, and he's getting results.
This is the reservation that I made for the reserve parking. It gives me a QR code, which allows me into the reserve parking area.
Jeff and Sherry Courtier showed me the proof, the QR code emailed to them after paying $96 for a 3-day airport parking reservation. When they pulled up to the ticket machine and again when driving into the garage at Terminal C, they showed the proof twice, they say. And then 3 days later, they showed it one last time when they tried to exit the garage. But the parking attendant couldn't verify the proof.
I said there has to be a button somewhere you can push to let us out, if nothing more than for emergency purposes. She said, no, there isn't, and the only way you're going to be able to leave is if you pay the extra fee. At this point, the cars are piling up behind me, and she continued to say that we had to pay in order for us to leave.
What do you think of that policy?
Don't like it at all. I think we were, for lack of a better word, detained, after we proved that we had prepaid for parking.
The Courtiers emailed the airport trying to get their money back, but got no response for days.
So I emailed you, and you responded. And on Thursday is when I start to get results and hearing from people at the airport about the situation.
When we reached out to the airport, they emailed and called the Courtiers, and they emailed us saying, as with any new system, there will be wrinkles. It is unfortunate that the system appeared to miss Mr. Courtier's entrance to the reserved lot. Therefore, our parking attendants were obligated to charge him the daily rate upon exiting. What do you say to that?
First of all, if it let me through 2 gates, the one outside of the parking garage and the one inside of the parking garage, I find it hard to believe that it missed my entry.
You don't believe you were the first person to deal with this?
Not because the employees had already been told, if this comes up, this is what you tell the customer.
This is a picture of the receipt from the Courtiers showing that they paid that second time around. The airport has now promised to refund all of the money that they have spent. And the airport also told us that this is the first time MCO has embraced a parking reservation system like this. And, quote, even though the program works well, they say, they will continue to monitor for any missteps, end of quote. So will we, as always. For now, at MCO, Eric Von Anken getting results. News 6.
So here's the deal. If they didn't live here and had to leave, I would just stay here. I can't leave. I quit my job. I can't get out of the parking lot.
I mean, we are warming up, but this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Does it get any better?
I think what everyone did too is packed all over the place. They knew that these kinds of days are numbered.
They are, and I think we were robbed a lot this winter with the clouds and the rain. We didn't have our typical Florida winter.
We had a real winter.
We did. We did. Yes, it was chill. Exactly. So now right, exactly. You know what's coming. It's right around the corner, so you have to bottle up. Just fantastic to be outside. I mean, it's a gorgeous evening to have dinner outside tonight. Light breeze, clear skies. It was warm today, certainly not humid, so it's comfortably warm outside. That's a live look in downtown Orlando with our light Orlando sky cam. Temperatures back to the lower 80s right now under a mainly clear sky. The breeze, so lovely, out of the east-southeast at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Getting into tomorrow, here's a look at your Pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
And we are hitting the lottery in the weather department. Again, back to around 80 in Daytona Beach, 79 for us in New Smyrna, 80 for us in Cocoa Beach. We're at 87 in Kissimmee, St. Cloud, Poinciana into Celebration tomorrow, pushing 90 for us into Ocala, Fort McCoy, the Villages. Good evening. We're back to 87 tomorrow under those mainly clear skies. Here we go. There's 3 o'clock in the morning. Overnight, we're nice and quiet, starting your drive into work. We're looking pretty good. That's 5 to 6 with just a few passing clouds. Tomorrow afternoon, more of the same. Lots of sunshine going through. There's 4 o'clock. Future radar picking up a sprinkle. Don't think those are going to be there tomorrow as we stay mainly sunny. Getting into tomorrow late into the evening, there's 10, 11 o'clock. Nice and quiet once again. That continues Getting into Wednesday, comfortably warm again tomorrow. That means our humidity is not really creeping up just yet. It will later on into the week, just a little bit. Still not that oppressive stuff just yet, but by Wednesday, we're going to be nearing 90 degrees. And then late in the week, Thursday, Friday into the weekend, that's when the 90s come surging back. But tomorrow, looking very nice. 81 by lunchtime under mostly sunny skies. 87 by 4. Back to the middle 70s by 8 o'clock under those mostly sunny skies. Big chunk of high pressure carving out the southeast right now. All of the active stuff is hanging back by this area of low pressure towards the Dakotas and then right along this front towards Washington, D.C. and Virginia. All of that over the next few days sticking out west. It is bringing them a pretty big severe weather threat through the plains, into the upper Midwest, and then into parts of the mid-Atlantic. But for us, it is quiet and it is dry. Temperatures going to warm up as well with the sunshine. 89 on Wednesday, 90 degrees on Thursday, and there are those lower 90s we were talking about coming in for the weekend. Again, getting a little more humid, guys, but still not that oppressive stuff that we would typically see in the middle of summer just yet.
Pool season. Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah. Coming up, a new call to get results for a local nonprofit.
A food bank telling us they are running out of food. When News 6 at 6:30 continues, how you can help get results for Matthew's Hope. Stay with us. We're back in 2.
Coming up in the morning, people in parts of Central Florida headed back to the polls.
The local race is going to runoff elections and what you need to know if you plan to cast a ballot.
Plus your Pinpoint weather and traffic every 10 minutes. We'll see you for News 6 mornings starting at 5.
Local nonprofit Matthew's Hope is known for donating meals to thousands of people in need of food, but now the organization is asking for your help. Workers said the shelves at their food pantry nearly empty, and it comes as the demand for meals continues in Orange County. Shannon Diaz with Matthew's Hope showed us what their food pantry looks like at the Winter Garden campus. The nonprofit receives donations from different organizations, but in order to keep the pantry full, Matthew's Hope is using reserves to buy food for the homeless. So how can you help and get results? Well, the nonprofit is asking for non-perishables, which you can drop off at the warehouse on Business Park Boulevard in Winter Garden.
Well, in case you haven't heard, we are taking our newscast on the road and listening to your concerns. So guess where we're headed next? we are coming to Montverde. And we want to know more about the 34756 zip code. Go to clickorlando.com/hitstheroad right now and let us know what you want us to cover in your neighborhood. We're really looking forward to hearing from you. I spent some time in Montverde yesterday. I understand why people are concerned about the growth that's happening there, because you don't want to mess up this pristine area. It is gorgeous.
Those rolling hills.
Oh, it's so nice.
Such a beautiful pocket
It's like
of
you're in
Florida.
Tuscany. It's like you're in a different country.
Especially at Bella Colina.
For real, yeah, it's really nice. Hey, thank you so much for watching News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV app.
We break news on clickorlando.com. See you back here tonight at 11. See you.